here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. Please don't sing. Don't sing. You can't sing. Don't sing. Don't torture us. No singing. We don't want you singing. Don't sing. It's my channel and I'll sing if I want to. Sing if I want to. Sing if I want to. All right, so I can expand it. I get the tract. Okay, never mind. That's fine. I got plenty of room to work with anyway. Do, 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 do. Yes, yes, good. The only thing I want to do is get me an ice cold beer. I earned it. And I want to get some swabs here. Why did I do it any damn? Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. I mean, I don't think I'm going to need all of these because stupid me was too lazy to go to Home Depot. Or not Home Depot. Well, I could have gone to Home Depot too, but we see what happens. We shall see. The only thing I need now is an ice cold beer. Okay. OBKB. OBKB. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing tonight? Do something a little different. So I hope you all are having a wonderful Wednesday. I am taking a break from eBay, man. I went eBay crazy today. I'll get into that in a little bit once I'm done setting up here behind the scenes. Do I even need this right now? I don't think so. Let me just do this very quickly in the background and then we get started, I suppose. I have to put my shameless e-bag in the chat, of course. Okay. There it is, lads and lasses. I hope you are all having an amazing Wednesday. Mine has been just busy doing my usual stuff. Got a lot of stuff done on eBay today for my eBay customers, so that's always good. I'm going to crack open this ice cold Miller Lite here, and then we'll get started. I'll key you into what I'm going to do here tonight. Hope you're all having a nice warm Wednesday. It got cold down here where I live. Alexa, what's the current forecast?
The current weather is 50 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Tonight, you can expect lots of clouds with showers, with a low of 29 degrees.
If it snows tonight, it may snow. They've been hinting at snow down here. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the snow anymore. I guess I'm in boomer status these days. You know, it's funny, when I was a kid living in New York, I used to love going outside in the snow in a t-shirt. I won't even try that now as an adult. I won't even bother. I'm not even going to try it. I won't even bother. So what's going down here tonight? what I'm going to do tonight, basically, is I'm going to repaint at least. I'm not going to go crazy pulling the shoelaces out and all that kind of stuff. A younger guy can do that. These were my backup 2016 Air Jordan 4s. I retired the old ones. I didn't want to paint them, didn't want to sand them, didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. So now I wear these along with a pair of Air Force Ones that I got, when I'm just like doing the rounds or what have you. So these are more now my toss around shoes. I have the 2025s up on my shoe rack, which are much more comfortable. I mean, oh yeah. But these are still viable. I can't believe just a little bit of TLC and care really made these shoes last 10 years. And I only wore them twice, 3 times, maybe. Something like that. So what I'm going to do, where's that little thing of silicone that I pulled out? If not, I'll use the paste. You know what? Let me grab that silicone paste. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. As you can tell, I have many cans of paint. I definitely have to get myself some more Angelus white leather paint off of eBay at my earliest convenience. I'm actually running out, but I got paper towels, I got wipes, I got silicone paste for the air bubble. Every so often, you kind of want to give the rubber parts a wipe with silicone because silicone does tend to preserve and restore rubber and all that kind of stuff. And elastic. Whoops. But basically what I'm going to do tonight, I'm not going to really go too crazy. I mean, by right, I should really pull it. You know what? Because somebody's going to start trolling the comments. Oh no, you got to take out the shoelaces because if you're going to paint, you got to do it right. So just to get the whiners out of the way. Is that the new girlfriend's hair already in my shoes? Of course it is. Yes, I started dating again. Who would have thunk it, huh, folks? Who would have thunk it? Yeah, I want to give these another lease on life. Unlike my old ones. Yeah, them things, man, they took a beating. Those Jordan 4s, the first ones I had, took a beating, and I kept these on ice all this time, and I've only worn them a couple times. I mean, should I wash it? I mean, the shoelaces aren't all that bad, I'll be honest with you. I mean, between this Air Jordan and the 2025 release, I mean, there are obvious cosmetic differences, like with the new 2025 drop. They have a more OG feel to them than these do. I mean, these have their own feel in their own way, but I was going to back up the 2025s, but I'm like, you know what? I got these. Why not just wear them out? Do like what I do with all my sneakers. Wear them out. Do my thing. Because I know there's going to be some person out there that's going to say, why don't you pull out the shoelaces? Take out the shoelaces. If you want to paint them, you got to do it right. Know what I'm saying? Okay, where? Oh, man, I'm really unprepared here. I feel like I'm back in school again. That's why I hated school in the first place. So now, because I don't have a small paintbrush, I'm going to use swabs like this and just gently go over the mesh. I'm not going to be doing anything too insane with these shoes because I just pulled them out of deep freeze, or sneakerheads like to call it. They were on ice, yo. I put them sneakers on. Theo. Yeah, I'm saying. The Carolina Collector out of context. Oh, shit. Is this Angelus dry? Do I have to end the live stream? Oh, okay, there's paint in there. I mean, I'm not going to use a lot of Angelus anyway. But I at least want to at least swipe these a couple times so that, you know, I can at least get some color back into these. Again, I'm not so concerned about making them perfect. I just want to give them just a light dusting of the Angelus paint. Just to kind of revive that yellow, or revive the mesh, I should say, and at least try to reduce that yellowing a little bit. Now, this is exactly what I did on my former pair of these that I unfortunately decided to rid myself of because, well, I could do that. I'm allowed to. I paid for them. I can do what I want. It's my stuff, and I will do what I want to, do what I want to, do what I want to. You'd cry too if I did it to you. Do, 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 do. But again, I'm just kind of lightly swabbing these. I'm not looking to do anything too crazy. I just want to try to. You can already see some of the yellowing is starting to reduce just by that initial pass. Now I'm only going on here very, very lightly and spreading this out, kind of like Bob Ross style. We're gonna put some of this Angelus leather paint on there. We're gonna just spread it out over there. So we're gonna put some happy white Angelus over here. Oh my God, the Carolina Collector ASMR. I never could understand that ASMR stuff. To me, it just sounds. You know who does that AMSR stuff? A lot of girls, a lot of women here on YouTube do that. Smacking their lips, scratching microphones, chewing on candy, chewing on bubblegum, sucking on a lollipop. I think when they do that, it has certain connotations attached to it. That they're really not doing it to help you to sleep. I could just imagine some weirdo fapping behind the camera watching these women chewing on bubble gum, crunching on carrots, sucking on lollipops. I never understood that. ASMR, whatever they call it. ASMR. ASMR. So again, I'm not really doing anything too out of the ordinary here. I mean, I'm kind of wasting my time doing the mesh up here because most of this is concealed anyway by my blue jeans. But if these do happen to last, I mean, Jesus, man, that first pair I had lasted literally 10 years since the initial release. But unfortunately, the mesh is always going to be susceptible to yellowing. That's just how these shoes are, unfortunately. So, is that as bright? Yeah, that's what I thought. I got the freaking LEDs on. Way too bright. I'm just looking at my TV screen here. I'm wondering if maybe... Yeah, it looks better with the brighter light. Let me just put the light on here. I think these batteries are close to dying. I may have to replace them in a little bit. Yeah, once these batteries start to flicker, I'll replace them. But again, the whole goal is to just try to take some of that yellowing out because the yellowing really stands out, especially in the daytime when I'm walking around. And I mean, again, with the 2025 drops, both shoes, the 2016s and the 2025s, are very distinguishable from one another. And again, I'm really not so concerned about like getting Angelus paint on the threads or anything like that. The whole goal is just to knock down some of that yellowing just a little bit. Now, it's probably going to take a few coats of me doing this again. I'm doing this very lightly with one of these swabs using Angelus leather paint. I'm not so concerned if I get paint on threads or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. But I definitely want to knock down some of that yellowing on there. And already it's like having an impact, which is good. There's really no way to get the yellowing out 100%. The only thing you can really do is just paint the mesh and then cross your fingers. But you don't want to paint them too much because then you get a lot of that white paint on the underlayer and then it looks like it's all caked up and gross. That's why I actually prefer swabs because you can kind of like control the paint a little bit more. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, listen, I'm a 50-year-old grown-ass man. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? All right. So that's got to sit for a little bit. I can actually do the other shoe. I got some cardboard down here, so you know what? I'm going to put these on the cardboard down here. Get that one out. Oh, I forgot. I got to take the laces out of the second shoe. You know what? I might as well just leave these up here. You see it like how it cakes up a little bit? You go in there with the other swab and just knock that down a little bit. I mean, I'm not concerned about this part of the mesh because the shoelaces and all the friction from walking and all that stuff, I think, is what's going to really knock down or make the paint chip off of these a little bit. So again, this is nothing too perfect or anything. So let that sit for a minute or two. Oh man, it's ice cold. By the way, I really like these. The Miller Lite bottles with the screw tops, they're aluminum bottles. And they actually keep the beer fresh. So like, you know, because I haven't really been drinking like, you know, I'm notorious for, I've really been taking care of my health these days. But, you know, if you don't finish your beer, you could just screw the top right back on. And the beer actually tends to stay nice and crisp, which is neat. I'm just giving my fingers an initial clean with the baby wipies. Okay. I mean, I should really give this just a little bit of a swipey. Waste not, want not, you know what I mean? I mean, I don't care. Listen, if I get my hands dirty, who gives a damn? I'll fire myself. Unsubscribe! He's got paint on his hands. Unsubscribe! God. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not looking for absolute perfection here. These sneakers are 10 years old. They already look nice right off the shelf, even though I wore them maybe like I said, 2 times, 3 times at most. I'm not looking to go too crazy. I just want to knock that yellow out a little bit with some Angelus here. And then you want to get your knuckles in there. I mean, by right, I really should have some paper or something in there or some old socks or what have you, but who cares? Unsubscribe. Yeah, with every very thin and light coat that you apply to this mesh, it really knocks out that yellow. I mean, over time, it's not really going to matter anyway, because no matter what you do, sneakers are sneakers. I wear all my shoes. Some I do wear more than others. But for me, the goal is just to make them look presentable. I'm like I said, I'm a 50-year-old, almost 50-year-old man. Don't give a damn what anybody thinks. Especially some of these young kids that are out there. They don't know what it was like in my time. Well, we had Jordans in my time too, so that would kind of like make me a hypocrite, wouldn't it? God. In my time. Don't you love it when fucking older people do that? They try to corner you with that type of logic. I mean, yeah, they earned it because they lived it. They lived more lives than we can count, but I just think sometimes they tend to use their age to bully on young people. Just because you're old doesn't mean you're right. It's a different place and a different time. I'm not saying you have to surrender your beliefs or anything like that, but you kind of have to give yourself a little wiggle room. Jesus, we're not using rotary phones anymore. You know what I mean? All right. I just want to make sure that it's not caked up or anything like that because there's a couple spots where it's just a little too heavy. That's why I like doing it with these tips. I can see the difference already, even in the LED light. I can already tell the Angelus is having an effect, and this is now round 2. It'll probably take about 5 or 6 rounds of the Angelus to really, really make a difference on these. But I can see the difference. Like when you turn a shoe, here, like if I were to take, this is the left shoe. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but I don't know if you're going to see the difference already between the right and the left. Well, technically, let's do this correctly. Put the right shoe in the right hand and the left shoe in the left hand. That would make sense, right? Right, boys and girls? You're starting to see a difference already in that mesh. But again, it's going to take several light coats to knock down that yellowing to the point where it's wearable and presentable. Again, I'm not looking to impress anybody, even though I do have a new girl in my life, finally, after all the chaos and drama of last year. God has gifted me with another female. Oh, I hope things are normal this time around. But you know what, man? Doing little projects like this, it keeps me busy, keeps me sane. You got to have hobbies, folks. Got to have hobbies. Got to have things to do with yourself. You can drive yourself into madness or alcoholism and all sorts of other bad habits. And I can see I'm going to have to go in there, and that's a little caked up. I think that's just because that's a little bit of dry Angelus right there. But again, I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just looking for them to look a little bit more presentable and knock out some of that yellowing. So I'll go in there with this tip and just, again, thin it out. If I see any clumps, and that's the benefit of the LED light, because you can actually see the clumps in the paint. It's a lot more noticeable, which is good. And you can actually spread out that Angelus just a little bit more. I hope you folks are enjoying this live stream. Do me a favor, if you're new to the channel, shameless eBeg, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box of this live stream, and it's also in the chat. You can click right on the link and take you directly to my eBay store. By the way, I've noticed something for the first time. I actually clicked on that link. Pay no attention to the shipping, because I've noticed like the shipping is like insane. For whatever reason, it happens on my phone. When I click on that link, it'll say like something is freaking $80 shipping or something like that. That's not the case. I think it's just a glitch when you do it through YouTube or something. So, but don't worry, I don't charge that much for shipping unless I was shipping gold or silver or a kidney, But anyway. It goes to help to support the channel. A lot of you have done so already. Yeah, I was going crazy on eBay today. And I still have a lot of cards I need to list that I haven't done yet. Let me use the paint that's on here already. Again, I'm not trying to impress anybody. Not trying to show off or anything like that. Yeah, there's plenty of paint on here already, so I'm not going to bother doing the double dip. Yeah, I listed a whole bunch of sports cards. I actually went into my personal collection to take out a lot. Man, I didn't realize how many numbered parallels and refractors and inserts I had. I'm like, oh my God, man, I really need to downsize. There's so much stuff I still have to do here at home. No clumps or anything. Yeah, it's actually going on pretty smooth. I'm surprised. Usually, knowing my heavy-handed mauling and my gorilla fingers, my sausage fingers, my dick fingers, penis fingers, my hands would be like this all over the place. But so far, so good. You can probably see the yellow. The yellow is actually disappearing little by little by little by little. It's going to take maybe 4 or 5 passes to finally do this. Ah. Yummy, yummy, yummy. For my sports card viewers out there, if there are any in this live stream, there's been a real bad uptick in local card shop robberies, especially in the Pokemon space. Man, they're getting hit real hard in the Pokemon space. I thought the sports card space was bad, but man, the Pokemon space, they're getting obliterated by robberies all over the place. I've actually added more videos to my hobby crimes playlist because of that. Yeah, the Pokemon space, they're getting hammered left and right. It's not like, sports card collectors and local card shops aren't getting hammered, but they're really getting hammered with robberies and theft and all that sort of thing. Is that enough? I think that's enough time. Again, it's going to take like maybe 5 or 6 coats per shoe per mesh. Yeah, this Angelus is starting to see its last days because it's very clumpy, and that's not good. Trying to get rid of some of these clumps on here. Again, trying not to use a lot of paint. I just want to let the weight of the tip do the work instead of me pushing down on it, because the goal is to get it on the mesh itself, not on the foam underneath. And that's why I like doing it this way, because if I were to use a paintbrush, it would probably gunk up underneath the mesh, and I really don't want to do that. I mean, again, I'm not looking to impress anybody. I don't give a shit what people think. I'm just trying to extend the life of these shoes because I'm going to be wearing these a little bit more seriously, to do the quick Joker impression, which I suck at. So I want to take these shoes just a little more seriously. And even if I miss a couple spots, again, I'm not looking for absolute perfection, but yeah, even in this light, I can see the difference already in what the Angelus is doing. But again, I want to make sure I go over it evenly and go with the mesh horizontally and vertically. And if it clumps up, I just go back with another foam tip and go in the opposite direction. I mean, basically, you're just kind of like mushing it on there. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And that's okay if I make a mistake, because I have the white bees right here too. So if I make a mistake, I could just wipe it off, like that little spot right there that I just caught myself. So we get the white bees out real quick. Go right there on the wing, and just whoop, right off it comes, and it's like it never happened. Shh, don't tell anybody. I made a mistake. Oh no, cancel him. Cancel him, dox him. Cancel. He's canceled. God. Jeez. God, you can't even make mistakes anymore. Everybody fucking demands such perfection from each other these days. I almost want to go into a church and, like, the night before, load up. I don't eat spicy food. I just want to load up on like a bunch of jalapeno peppers and go into a church and just let out the most grossest fart that I can. Like stuff like that amuses me. Just the thought of doing it. I mean, I don't have the balls to do things like that. And I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything either before somebody misinterprets what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, God, fucking people are just way too damn serious these days. Why so serious? See, even with this coat, man, that mesh looks so much better. And it's nice because when I thin it out after applying that latest coat, just to make sure that that paint is on there nice and even and there are no clumps in the mesh. And again, I'm not even pushing down. I'm just letting the swab do all the work. Let's look at that compared to the left shoe. Again, this light may not really show the... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. You can see it in the light. Look at the improvement already. You know what it is? I'm so used to doing the vertical live streams. I'm not used to this horizontal shit. Now that you're allowed to do these live streams horizontally here on YouTube, but you can see the difference already between left and right. It's amazing what a little bit of Angelus leather paint can do for a pair of shoes, especially ones that are 10 years old. I think I mentioned this in a previous live stream that either I put in a private mode or maybe I loosely mentioned it in a video. The Dunkin' Donuts where that homeless guy was, and I actually have to re-upload that video. I have to do some edits to remove some of the dialogue that was in there because, again, I don't want to have hard feelings with certain people. Which, by the way, I got an amazing email tonight. I'm not even going to get into that. But it's very good news for yours truly. But again, I'm going to be exercising caution, which is why I've been keeping the have-nots at an arm's distance because I don't need people's bullshit to be around me. See, I don't care if I get paint on the shoes themselves or anything like that. Because again, I'm not out to impress anybody, but this one I'm concerned about right here. This one little clump. That I'm going to clean up because that doesn't look good, even though nobody's going to see it. It's going to bother me. It's just one of those things that will bother me. But yeah, already that's making a huge, huge dent in that yellowing that was on the mesh. And even if I get some paint on the threads, I'm not really going to go too crazy because these shoes are going to be worn anyway. They're going to get dirty. Who cares? They're not trophies. These are not deer heads or bear skins or fucking shoes. They're going to be worn. Yo, check out my kif. Y'all not fan. Y'all thup that, y'all. But yeah, that mesh already is looking so much better. Oh my God, is that looking better? And I'm going to have to get the lint shaver. You know what? Let me get the lint shaver, folks. I'll be right back. And this is a really handy sneaker tool to have also. It's a decent lint shaver for the inside of your shoes. This thing works really nice. So, I mean, I'm kind of like, this is like OCD right here. I mean, I did this for the shoes that I listed over at eBay. Oh, which, by the way, if you're a sneakerhead and you're interested in a pair of Converses, I did list a pair of Converses over at my eBay store today. And the Black Thunders are still available. No, is it the Black Thunders? No, I sold the Black Thunders. And I know I'm going a little cuckoo clock on these, but this is still a good. If you're a sneaker reseller and you wear your kicks and you want to sell them to somebody, be decent and at least take a lint shaver to the inside, man. I see what the inside of certain shoes look like, and they're just awful. Those little things really can make or break an eBay sale. You know what I mean? Oh, it was funny. I was in Walmart earlier today to go get my usual sugar-free Red Bull and some sugar-free fruit punch, and there was a police officer over at the Walmart where I usually shop at, and I thought somebody got into trouble in there, but I think he was on his lunch break or something like that. I think because we have an officer, usually a couple officers, they patrol the parking lot there, because you do have like a lot of idiots that go in there. At least they're not doing donuts or street takeovers in that Walmart, which is a good thing. It's not like Uptown Charlotte. They have a real bad reputation for that in Uptown. But down here in South Charlotte, at least in my neck of the woods, you don't see that unless you go to Miller's Flea Market off of 51 on the borderline between North and South Carolina, which is like a couple miles from here. But it didn't look like. I think he was. Well, he was in his uniform, but I think he was on his lunch break, and he walks into the Walmart, and I happened to run into him while I was going to get my Red Bulls and stuff like that, and he's talking to himself and trying to pick out a box of crackers or whatever it is. And I said, "You all right, officer? You want me to call 911 for you? You look a little confused over there." He starts cracking up laughing. He's like, "No, I'm starving. I'm just coming off my shift. I need a snack before I call it a day." I'm like, "Well, if you want to order a pizza for the two of us." He's like, "No, no, 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 that's good." Not all police officers are bad, man. I've had my experiences in the past. But they're not the fucking demons that everybody makes them out to be. They're human beings too. You can't treat them like they're assholes. Yeah, you do have some cowboy cops that are out there, but they're not all bad. So I can see already. Let me see what these look like in a regular light. Oh yeah. See, now in this light here, I can actually see. Oh, there was another trick that I use in case they do clump up. I just remembered. I brought. I didn't buy it. I brought it from the brink of death. It was one of my old toothbrushes. Here's a little trick if you're painting your mesh on your shoes. If you see clumping, get an old toothbrush and just run it inside and out the mesh. And that'll remove a lot of that clumping. Because there is some clumping here on my shoes. And do it in circles so it's nice and even. So basically what I'm doing is this, because if you look at the regular light, the yellow light versus the LED light, there's clumps here. So just to kind of thin out those clumps, to make the paint look even, just kind of like go in there with an old toothbrush and break up that clumping. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. Oof. Much, much better. Sorry if I'm off camera here, folks. Can I turn the... Yes, I can. I can do that. I can turn the camera. I can do that. I can do that. Like Chekhov would say in Star Trek. Well, what's his name? The new Chekhov that died. I always forget his name. But Anton Yelchin, that's his name. I think that's his name. Yeah, you just kind of get in there liberally and just break up those clumps. Now, this is all going to be concealed with the shoelaces anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But look at how nice and bright they look already. What is that? 3 coats I put on there so far? 4 coats? Something like that. Let me see the other mesh. That don't look bad. That don't look bad. I just want to make sure all of you can see what I see, especially if you're a sneakerhead. Now, again, I'm not a sneaker restorer, so to speak. That's not really my expertise, I'll be honest with you. But I like to at least keep my sneakers looking presentable as I wear them, because they will wear down. If you want to treat your shoes like they're trophy pieces, have at it, man. You do with your stuff what you want. I'm not the sneaker police, but if I'm going to wear my shoes, I want them to look good. And look how nice they look now. Now, if I pick up the left shoe, you may not be able to see. You can see the yellow immediately. But then you compare that to this one. Here, that's the up close with the right shoe, and then you look at the left shoe. You can definitely see the yellow is slowly beginning to disappear. Do me a favor, if you're enjoying this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Shameless eBeg, of course. And check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001, if you're interested in sports cards and such items. So I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and finish off this first beer. So it's already starting to make an impact. So that's good. That's good. I just want to give that 1 or 2 more minutes. In the meantime, let me grab another beer from my icebox. It's not that far away. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. Why am I singing that song? I have no idea, because I'm an idiot in a lullaby. Having fun, folks. Got to have a little fun here. Can't be all so fucking serious. Why so serious? Did I ever tell you how I got these scars? Come here. So, I had a dog. We called him Jackass. Kind of like the TV show. And my dad adopted this dog. And every time he would say, "Come here, Jackass," I thought he would talk to the dog. But he was talking to me. So he took out his pocket knife and did this. Now I'm always smiling. That's where I see the funny side. What the fuck am I talking about? Jeez. Trying to have a little fun here, folks. I don't want the live stream to be boring. I don't want you to see me just here. I'm stroking my shoes. Oh my goodness. Oh geez. Look at me just stroking away. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm sure the rainbow people would fucking love that. I'm just stroking away on my shoes. Oh boy. Getting all that white stuff on my shoes. Oh geez. I better be careful. Some people might actually get their rocks off on that weird shit. Knowing the way some people are so fucking creepy these days, you never know, folks. You never know. You may have a Captain Howdy living right next door and wouldn't even know it. Yeah, this is coming out really nice. This is actually coming out, this shoe is coming out better than I expected. And again, I'm just going over this very liberally. I'm not really concerned about, because the leather on the shoe is still very much bright white. I also want to go in this direction too, because you want to get all 4 sides of that mesh, since the mesh is rectangular in design as far as the mesh portion is concerned. I'm not talking about the overall shape, but the little rectangular squares, just to prevent clumping. Let me see what that looks like off camera. Oh, shoot. Yes, that's looking good. It's a nice. The only thing I want to do again is with the toothbrush here. Now I'll flip the camera around because I don't want to skip any steps, and then people say, "Oh, look, he's cheating, unsubscribe." Look how nice and bright that looks now compared to how yellow that was. And again, you take the old toothbrush and just in circles, you go into the mesh. Don't push down. That's another thing too. Let the weight of the brush do all the work. When you feel a little tension on the brush, that's enough. You know what I mean? Just enough where you let the brush do all the work. And go in circles because you want this to be nice and even. Now again, the shoelaces and the mesh are contact points, so this paint will eventually wear off or turn yellow again. It's not a permanent fix, it's semi-permanent. So you have to go into it expecting that. And just kind of like go in there, give it a nice... Again, it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as they're presentable, that's all I care about. And that's not bad. I'm kind of content with that at this point. I mean, look at how nice and bright that is. If you were to compare that to this shoe, look at the difference. You could see, even in the LED light, in the bright light, you can see the yellowing, and then you can see the paint. There's still a little bit of clumping in there, but again, I'm not concerned. I'm really not too concerned. You know, like I said, they're 10-year-old shoes. I'm not trying to impress my homeboys, yo. Nah, son, what's the matter, Chuck? Shit. Nah, son, yo, G, has to cut the fat, no, that's a fat, ma. That's a goddamn ma. What's that dude's name from South Park? The white kid pretending to be a hip hop gangster. Forget what the hell the character's name is. But look at the difference in that already. Tell me that's not something. Look at how nice that is. What a difference. What a difference. This coat might be the last coat. I really don't see any reason to put any more paint on that. You know what I can do? I can go one step further. Hold on a second. If I really wanted to work that paint in, I bought this intentionally just for this. Where are you? So, if you really want to get slick, just to make sure you do a thorough job, but again, be careful because you don't want to push down too hard on the shoes because you may ruin them. But, you know, you take one of these. I bought this little bristle brush for like general cleaning. Like if I get, you know, spots in my carpet or something like that, you can actually take this and go nice and slow. And then just lightly. Oh, yeah, that took the clumps out just like that. Check that out. There's minor clumping in there, but I'm not going to worry about that. Listen, again, I'm not out to impress anybody, but look at the difference between the mesh there and the mesh on this guy. Not bad, right, folks? There's one spot that I'm personally not happy with, and it's like, again, doesn't need to be perfect. Just want to give it one good once over, and I think that might be it. Yeah, once I start wearing the shoes, if there are any clumps in there, it'll just dry off naturally. I'm not too concerned. Not out to impress anybody. Even if you want to, the best thing also is to kind of like, when you're confident you can touch these, just do that to separate the clumping as well. So I could tell there's clumping because I got like little paint chips and dust on my jeans. But the goal is just to give it enough enough that it's passable. I mean, man, that is such a difference already. I'm going to give the top mesh just one more swipe with the Angelus paint. And what's good is when you take a brush to this, it puts a coarse surface on the mesh so that you can actually go back up there and build up upon it. I'm not looking for perfection here, folks. I'm just looking for it to be passable. Look at how nice that looks. We'll do the sides, and then I can technically lace the shoes at that point, and then we'll throw a little silicone where the silicone needs to be. And again, I'm just kind of like going in circles here. Whatever paint is on this swab should be enough. Yeah, this is the final coat. I'm not going to have to do any more after this. I'm quite content with the way that looks. And because the shoes are so new, even if you get paint on the stitching and on the leather, you're not going to see it. You really have to be like, super obsessive compulsive to like obsess over absolute perfection like that. I don't see any reason to go nuts or haywire. So again, I'm going to work whatever paint is on this swab. I'm going to dispose of the swab after this because I can tell when it starts to clump up like the way it is now, that means that this swab is pretty much dead at that point. And that's when you want to take your toothbrush out just to kind of make sure you can break down, just to break that down a little bit. Again, I'm not looking for perfection. I want them to be wearable. I want them to be passable. I want them to at least look like I didn't do any work on them. Nothing and no one is perfect. There we go. Okay. There's still minor clumping here and there, but as the shoes are worn, that'll break off. Yeah, there's really no reason to continue to put more paint on there because then it's going to really look obvious on the shoe. So I'm going to give this one good rough, just one good, really work that in there. I think that's good enough. That's definitely good enough. Look at how nice that looks. That really took away the yellowing. And that's what's good about using a brush because, again, you're putting a coarse surface on top of the paint you already put on. And Angelus dries pretty quick on its own, I've noticed. So, there you go. Boom. Look at that. I mean, you really have to be looking at these up close to notice anything. All right, I'm not going to do any more. I think that's that with this pair of shoes. You can almost immediately, already to the touch. I don't have no paint on my hands except for that swab. But I'm going to lace these up. I'm not even going to bother washing the laces because the laces were already good to begin with. I mean, I don't smoke or anything like that, and I'm a pretty clean guy, so I really not going to worry if the shoelaces are a little off-white. That doesn't bother me because, technically, these shoes, again, are 10 years old. Even though there are cosmetic differences between these and the 2025 drops, I still kind of want them to look a little worn because it gives, like, Jordans are much different than other shoes. If you wear your kicks like I do, Jordan sneakers tend to have, especially with the patina on them, depending on which shoes you're wearing, especially on the fours, they tend to have like this really awesome patina on them. But as they age, they start getting more and more ugly, unfortunately. But Jordan sneakers, they tend to stand out a little bit more. I mean, I could. All right, let me make sure that these are. But you have to lace them this way because you want to be down, yo. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to join my local 7-Eleven gang, milk crate gang, sitting in front of a 7-Eleven. Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? My dog, yo, PGQ XXYZ. Know what I'm saying? Don't give a fuck. Hey, my name is Chuck. I don't give a fuck. Thought it is, laddie. Thought it is. So make sure. All right. I mean, there's a little bit of. I mean, that's for my own manhandling of these shoelaces. I should have washed my hands in hindsight, but I do have the wipies here. So let's see if I can get just some of that thumbprinting off of that lace. Again, that's only because stupid me didn't wash my hands. But again, for a pair of 10-year-old shoelaces, I mean, I can always take a little OxyClean to these too. That usually does the trick. But an old school, the old school wipies like these, they usually do it in 1 or 2 passes. I mean, again, I'm just looking to get these to be presentable. You can see where there's like a thumbprint right there because of my own stupidity. It's probably because I touched the lower sole and didn't properly clean my fingers. So -5. Unsubscribe. Cancel him. Cancel him. Hell no. We won't go. Hell no. We won't go. This is what sneaker cleaning looks like. This is what sneaker cleaning looks like. God. Oh, don't even get me started with that. Don't even get me started with that bullshit. Please. This is what democracy looks like. Get the fuck out of here. Some people are lucky to live here. God, some of these big, fat, ugly, transit, pronoun freaks, if they went to a place like Afghanistan and Pakistan and you talk like that, they put a burlap sack over your head, walk you up to a 3rd-story building, Hawaiian pasta. Hawaiian pasta. You know what I'm trying to say, folks. Salami bacon. Salami and bacon. Salami and bacon. They throw you off a building. That's what they do. Again, I'm not going to get political. Almost there, folks. Almost there. I'm just lacing these lovely ladies up. Now I kind of want the top lace to come above the wing because I don't really tie my shoelaces. Most of my shoes I tend to slip right in. Actually, this lace should go on here. Okay. I'm going to get some OxyClean, put it on that toothbrush, and then clean that thumbprint that I left on the shoe. But otherwise, they don't look bad at all. I mean, man, compared to when I first started, I can definitely tell in this light if you look at them just like that. They look so much nicer without that yellowing in there. And again, now that I've got the laces in the right shoe, you look at the left shoe in comparison, you could definitely see the difference right off the bat, right there. Look at the difference between the two. That really knocked out the yellowing. Is there, maybe I could do it like this. So the bottom is the unpainted, top is painted. Definitely looks much better. I'm going to take some OxyClean. Well, first let me size them up to where I can just slip into them without having to constantly tie my laces. Right there is good. Okay. So, and what I'm also going to adjust these before I open my mouth. And just lightly pull on them so they are snug on my feet. Not tight, but snug enough where I can just slip them right on. And then I'll tie them in a knot and tuck them, and that's it. They're locked in. Boom, baby. I think right there's pretty good. Yeah, that's definitely good. So I can take these and then I can tuck the laces underneath, but for right now, that's fine. The only thing I don't see, this is where you can really criticize your own work, because now I got them on feet, right? I can see where some clumping took place, but it's not as egregious as it normally would be. I mean, over time, the shoes are going to wear down, but now that I can see it, of course, being a perfectionist, it irks me just a little bit. So I'll go in there, just give them very loose, just to knock them down a little bit. All right, let me get some OxyClean for, oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I can definitely see it on my feet. That looks much, much better. Much better. All right, so now that I got me some OxyClean, let me just OxyClean the shoelace here a little bit, and then we'll do another comparison, and that's pretty much that for this shoe, with the exception of the air bubble. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So I just want to take a little bit of OxyClean. I don't want to spray it everywhere. I just want to get a couple drops onto the lace like that. And then again with the toothbrush, just lightly. You don't want to push down on the lace either. That's another thing. Because if you push hard on this lace, it'll actually start to, you'll start to get bobbles on it. You don't want that. There, and now the thumbprint is gone. That was on there. You don't want to use bleach. Unless you're going to directly wash these shoelaces, don't use bleach. Because if you use bleach, it'll turn, because these are cotton shoelaces. These are OG cotton shoelaces. They will probably turn the shoelaces yellow if you're not careful. You don't want that either. Even though if your shoes do start turning yellow, the yellow shoelaces with the yellow mesh, who's really going to care? But, you know, if you have shoes like this that have been in storage for all these years and you're just breaking them out for the first time, and if you know how to preserve them, use OxyClean spray. Do not use bleach, because bleach will cause a bleach burn on these, and they'll turn yellow almost instantly, especially in the sun. Yeah, so I'm content even with that. Look at how nice that looks. I can't describe to you what they look like on my side of the camera. They almost look DS. They're very close to dead stock. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do my old silicone paste trick to I mean, I already did it a whole bunch of times on this thing to preserve the air pocket and all this rubber on here. But again, you take the same swab, and where's that silicone can? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So I'm going to take the plumber's silicone that I got here, and you only want the slightest. Oops. You only want the slightest bit of silicone on there. You don't want too much because then you can make a mess. And you don't want to get this on the upper. You just want enough. Again, if you have to scrape off some of that silicone, try to get the swab to absorb that silicone. And then just liberally get into that air pocket. And a lot of people don't seem to realize, man, if you don't protect plastic and rubber like this, that's essentially what turns it yellow because of what's called oxidation. And already, when you look at the air pocket, look at how nice and clear that is. Now, over time, of course, it's going to get dirty again, and you could just, reapply this stuff. But again, give it like just a little swipe with your silicone. And you want to get it on the rubber because that'll help slow down cracking and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to use a lot, just a little bit, and just go around where you can see it with your eyes. And you only want to do this, and you can see some of the dirt coming off too, which is good. And you just want to go around liberally and gradually. Again, you don't want to go too crazy or too haywire. I got some paint on the outsole. That's okay. That'll come off real easy. Again, I'm not concerned about that. And then if you really want to finish this off, just do it with a microfiber. Microfiber will not scratch the paint in any way. And what will happen with this is that it'll help the rubber parts and the paint that's on here with the cement paint. It'll help it to flex and stretch. That's why plumbers put all kinds of lubrication on rubber gaskets and O-rings, because rubber and plastic does have a shelf life and does tend to dry out over time. Now, unfortunately, because of my heavy-handed mauling, maybe I can do this with my thumb. Yeah, all right, that paint came right off. Okay, so I had a little bit of a paint swipe right here, so that came off real easy. But then when it's all said and done, you get in there with the air pocket, you clean them up real nice, like. And you want to make sure that you don't leave anything behind. I'm not saying you have to clean it to the point where it's bone dry, but just make sure that there's, to the touch, it's going to feel slippery, which is a good thing. Which means now you have a little bit of protection on your shoes as far as the rubber parts are concerned. It really brings that back to life. Look at how nice that looks. And I do have leather conditioner I can put on the shoe itself, which I'm going to skip for the sake of this live stream. But you can do that also. Like the automotive stuff works nice. I think, I can't remember what the name, I'm brain farting. I think Armor All has leather wipes. You can always go over this again with leather wipes, just to make sure that the leather stays healthy so it doesn't dry out. But with the silicone, you can see how it brings the midsole and the lower back to life, and how it literally takes the yellowing out of that air pocket. And that's what a Nike Air Jordan 4 white cement should look like. If you're just pulling it off the shelf after 10 years. I can't believe the sneaker's 10 years old already. Man, that other pair I had, I probably won't ever wear the 2016, the 2025 drop from last year. I wore them once around my apartment. I haven't worn them since. Like I said, I tend to wear my shoes. I want to go over this just a little bit too, because this tends to wear away and crack as well. So again, just liberally and only with the slightest amount of silicone. and just kind of like get in there. Don't push down too hard or anything like that, because you don't want to scratch the Nike Air that's on there. You don't want to scratch the pull tab or anything. Just let the brush do all the work, or let the swab do all the work. And you don't want too much. You don't want to glop it or goop it on there. I mean, it's just the slightest amount of silicone. And that'll keep the plastic and the rubber pliable. And then again, with the microfiber, you want to go with the furry side, not the smooth side, because you want to get the edges and all that stuff too. And give it one nice once over. And again, it's not rocket science. And that will help to preserve this back tab. And you can feel it almost immediately, how nice and smooth and slick that feels. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. 2 snaps in a circle. We'll do the wings, or the stabilizers, or whatever you folks want to call it. You call it what you want. I call it what I want, because I can. Now, of course, I already laced these up. I should have did this before I laced them up. Like Patriot Prime would say, we should have waited before. Or we put this is Megatron without his stickers before. And here he is with the Twat Hack stickers after. And then again, just liberally get in there. But I think you ladies and gentlemen get the point. Look at how nice the rubber looks on there too. And it doesn't stink. But there you have it, folks. That's the right shoe. All done. Again, I'm not looking for dead stock condition. I have worn these outside already, but I wasn't too thrilled with the yellowing on the mesh. And then, of course, with me touching the soles like I did, I got a little dirt on the shoelaces. So, also, don't put rubbing alcohol. Never clean this with rubbing alcohol. Clean it with silicone. Or if you really have to, you can actually use ceramic spray on this. But I prefer the silicone method because it really preserves the rubber. But you don't want to put it on the leather. You really don't want to do that, because the leather may absorb it. It may swell. You don't want that. And there you got it. Boom. This light does not do these shoes justice now. Now that this one's painted. And look at the difference between the two. You can see it right there. Look at the difference. There's that one, and there's that one. Look at the difference. So what do you think, folks? I can't wait to get these into the sunlight tomorrow. I don't think it's supposed to rain. Alexa, what's tomorrow's forecast?
Here's the forecast for tomorrow. Look for partly sunny weather, with a high of 40 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 20 degrees.
Oh, it's going to be balls-ass cold tomorrow. Ugh. That sucks. All right, let's get the second one going. If I'm going to do this, I might as well do it right. Again, the same process. Pull the laces off. Laces out. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, baby. All right. Now again, I'm just going to pull the laces out on the left shoe now. And we'll go through the same process as what we did with the right shoe. Now, this is what I do. Now, professional sneaker restorers probably have all sorts of crazy methods that they use. If you're the average schmuck like I am, and just want to do things fast, easy, and simple, this is what works for me. May not work for you. You do you, I do me. Pan that down so you can see what I'm doing here. I don't want to pull the end cap off of that. That's something I don't want to do, especially when it comes to these tabs, because they may crack or pull and damage. And I really don't feel like hunting out OG Jordan shoelaces. All right, so you can definitely see the yellowing on the left shoe. Now we'll go back to the right shoe that I just finished. And you look at the mesh again. Look at the difference between the two. The difference is night and day. So just like what we did before, I'm going to get rid of these swabs so that I don't mix them up. And again, I'm going to switch the camera around to my desk. Let me get that silicone out of the way. Actually, I'm going to get that out of the way completely because I don't want to get silicone on me at this point in time. So the swabs you just use, get rid of them and just use new swabs. Because there may be dirt and stuff that the old ones picked up. So you want to go with a clean slate. And you can see the yellowing right off the top, right off the cuff. So let me take a swig of my secret sauce. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get new Angelus leather paint. And again, dip the whole swab in there. Don't be afraid. But if you have any clumps on there, scrape off the clumps because you don't want those clumps to get in between the mesh. And then again, same process. Stick your hand in there. You could put socks in there. You could put paper in there. You put whatever you want. And again, just in circles. You can already see the paint already on that yellow. And just, again, go in circles very lightly. Don't push. You're trying to avoid the clumping of the paint. It will take 2 or 3 passes to build up enough paint. Oh, come on, dude. Not now. Not now. The king. Love the dude. But he is the king of bad timing. You probably did that on purpose to fucking troll me. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, you want to work that swab in there. Again, just go loosely. Don't push. You don't want it to clump. You're trying to avoid clumping on the mesh. I mean, we're going to go over this with a brush anyway. But already and immediately you can see just that first initial pass is making a difference already. Let me just check off camera here. So I got a little bit of clumping, which is not too bad, right in this area here. So, and you want to try to get that clumping, because Angelus, when you put on thin layers of Angelus paint, it tends to dry very fast. So you want to act fast. And again, just be patient. Don't rush. I know Russian. I'm German. Haha. All right. Take a little bit more paint again. Don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. We'll do the side of the shoe next. Again, just let the weight of the swab do all the work. Don't push down or anything like that. Let the swab do the work. Aye, your scurvy swabs. Just a little wee bit. Oh, we got a little stain right there. That's okay. We can cover that with Angelus. Do it just a little bit. There's enough enough paint on there, I can get that scratch right out. Boom, scratch is gone now. Okay. So let me just check off camera, make sure, yeah, there's 1 or 2 clumps. Again, with the toothbrush, just very lightly. Get in there and work it. The best way to do this, if you can, if you're able to, with the toothbrush, if you're able to push the bristles into the mesh to separate the mesh from the side of the shoe, that will greatly reduce the chance that you'll get clumping of the paint. I'll give it one more good swipe, get just enough paint on this, and then again, pull the wing up, or the stabilizer, or whatever you want to call it. And just again, don't push down. You don't want it to clump up, and just let the swab do all the work. You need just a little bit of tension on it. Go in circles. If you have to work the edge, do so. That should be enough with that. Very simple, very easy. You just check off camera that I do a good job. Now I got a little bit of clumping here and there. It's going to happen. Grab the toothbrush again. Work the paint in just to break up that. Just to break that up a little bit. And how am I looking on that first pass already? Yeah, it's looking good already. Looking good. Looking good already. Put this up this way here so you can see what I'm doing. Let me just give my fingers one good cleaning just in case, because I don't want to get paint on my clothes. Albeit, in hindsight, I should have worn an old pair of jeans and an old t-shirt or something, but I'm an idiot, so what do you want? Hashtag self-own. Cancel him. All right. Give that a minute or two to sit, and we'll do coat number 2. Let me see, where's that? Man, that right shoe just looks amazing. You know, the lacing looks a little too tight for my taste. It's still not bad. Listen, again, we're talking about 10-year-old shoes here, so. But eventually, I'm gonna have to take the 2025s out for a test run. I want to make sure with this shoe here one more time that it slips right on. Yeah, it's too tight. Okay, I'm gonna have to back off on this a little bit. You know, because I don't want to, I mean, the leather as you wear it is going to stretch anyway, but I don't want it to prematurely stretch, because then a shoe starts to really deform. That's what happened with the old ones. They started to like deform in this very odd way. Oh, and one of the things I like doing, let me turn the camera around so you can see what I'm doing here. So when I'm trying to lock in where I want my shoes to be without having to constantly lace them up, I take my thumbs and I do this. I go back and forth on them until the point where they're just nice and loose and they look decent throughout. Something like that. And then when I want to lock them in, of course, you know, I can always do it right out of the shoebox, the way they do it out of the shoebox, or I can just knot them right here and then tuck the knot where you can't see them. So I like to knot mine as close to the tongue as I can, and then let them have a little give. You don't want to knot them so tight, but as long as I can get my thumbs in there and move the laces back and forth, they'll adjust on their own, and that will allow the shoe to flex. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Sorry, guys. Me and my shoulder got in the way. But yeah, you get your thumbs in there a little bit, and you kind of work the shoelaces, and then there you go. And then it makes the shoes look nice and even throughout. which is nice. I'm gonna have to go in there a little bit more with the stain remover and the toothbrush. You know what? I can do that while that other shoe should be dry by now. But that looks so much better. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see the improvement almost immediately. Let me do this quickly. I'm sorry if my shoulder gets in the way again. I just don't. There's like one bit of clumping here I don't like. Now I don't want to remove all the paint. I want to make sure the paint stays on there. But yeah, okay, that's good. I'm content with that. I'm not messing with that no more. That's it. All right, so they pop right off. They go on real nice. They come off real nice. But there is a little dirt on the shoe. I can tell because I didn't wash my hands. Because again, I'm a nitwit. A little bit more spray and wash on there. You want to get it directly on the laces, what have you, blah, blah, blah. Just a little bit, a drop or two. Whatever have you. And then go to your toothbrush. Don't push down because it will create stressing on the shoelaces. Just work that spray and wash in there. And that should be good enough to take some of that staining out of the laces. Not looking for absolute perfection, but just want the shoes to be presentable. I'm kind of happy with that right there. I think that's good enough. They will get dirty. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just the way sneakers are. Boom. Okay. I'm going to keep these on feet or on foot. And then, yeah. All right. Look at how nice. Now all we need is a guy named Buggin to show up to have these shoes scraped so I can scream at somebody for no reason. Okay, that's enough of that. Enough showing off this shoe. Hi, I know that guy. Okay. Let's finish off this little project here. Thank you again for joining this live stream, folks. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. And check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the chat. It'll take you directly to my eBay store where I'm selling loose sports cards and various other items. I have well over 600 items. Well over 600. I probably have about 650 listings currently over at my eBay store. And there's more to come. I ordered for another 500 top loaders for my baseball cards. And again, now that that paint is presumably dry, I can see already with the second application. And again, don't push down. Just kind of let the swab do all the work, and you want to go in both directions because the goal is to create the illusion like this mesh was already white to begin with. Don't push down, don't force it, because you will get paint. You will get paint clumps. Don't be afraid if you get paint on the... See, there's going to be a clump right there because I screwed up. I can tell you right now. Yeah, there's going to be a clump there. I can tell you now, even in this light. And just let the swab do all the work. Don't force it. Don't push it. Let me just look off camera here quickly. Yeah, that did clump as predicted. I'm going to grab a fresh wipe because we got some here on the tab here on this wing, so I'm going to just clean that off before it dries. And you don't want to use rubbing alcohol on that. I don't, because it could take off the protective coating on the leather. So I tend to use baby wipes. Don't forget that this material is leather. It's essentially skin, and you want to treat it as such. So again, I'm working that paint into the mesh. If it does clump, you don't try not to put any positive pressure against the mesh at this point. You just kind of want, you know, I can even put this down here on my desk and just let it sit there and then let the toothbrush do all the work. But because, you know, I want to see what I'm doing to make sure I'm going evenly across the top of the shoe, you want to push that paint all throughout the mesh and spread that paint out so it's evenly distributed. And again, you don't have to push hard on it. Oh yeah, I can see off camera, yeah. That looks real nice. I think one more coat on the top, that'll be it. But we still got the mesh on the side that we got to do. And just a little wee bit of Angelus on the wing. And again, just lightly let the weight of the swab do all the work. Don't force it, don't push it. And just let the swab work its magic. You don't want it to clump. If it see, like a clump right there, there's a clump. I can see it already. That's my own fault once again. As many times as I've done this, I still haven't mastered the art of anti-clumpage. That's what she said. Let me just look off camera here so I can get a better view. That's okay. That's what the toothbrush is for. So again, just to knock down some of that clumping, take the old toothbrush in circles, show you on camera. And I'm not putting any positive pressure with my index finger behind this mesh. I'm kind of wanting to push the mesh away from the inner liner so the paint spreads evenly and it doesn't clump up underneath. And just let me check in the regular light. Oh yeah, that looks much better already. Oh my God. Yeah, definitely one more coat will do it. It usually does take 3 to 4 coats to get it right. And you don't even need a lot of paint, like I said. Yeah, this is really clumping up bad. Once in a while, you'll want to do this. You see like how all those clumps that are developing? That's all dry, old paint. You want to kind of like get in there. And this is why I use baby wipes, because it's mostly, that's all dry paint. You want to get that off there. You're trying to not get clumps on your shoe. I kind of want to work that paint off of there. So just, again, this is not a perfect process by any means, but when you're Johnny on the spot like this, you kind of know what you're looking for if you've done this enough. Just enough so you don't have any of those clumps around the lip of the bottle, because you don't want those clumps. See, like right there? And this is a case where you take your, I should have kept the old swabs and go in there and just get those clumps out of there. I'm going to actually take this and just go and get it off of there. All right. Everything is good in the world again. So we're going to take our shoe, turn it around. And again, very lightly, same process. At this point, you should be an expert. I mean, this is pretty much idiot-proof. And again, I'm not putting any positive pressure on the material behind the mesh. Take the toothbrush yet again, do the roundage thingy. Let me get that on camera again. Let me just, so you can see what I'm doing. And again, in circles. You always want to go in circles because the goal is to knock down any clumping that happens. And that's actually pretty good. I like that, so I'm going to let the shoe sit there. And this will most likely, this is going very well. I'm surprised this is going as well as it is. It usually doesn't go this well for me. But if you've done it enough times, you kind of know, you know what the signs are and all that kind of stuff. So but thank you, everybody. I hope you're all being entertained, having a good time watching this. I know it's kind of boring and low energy, but sorry. Just want to get some of that excess paint off of my fingers there. Let me just let that sit for a couple more minutes and take another sip of the good stuff, by the way. Cheers, everybody. Happy Wednesday. And you can see, even on camera, the difference that this paint job is doing on these shoes. I'm kind of happy I didn't cheat and not, you know, and actually take out the shoelaces. I'm very happy I didn't cheat. So it's very easy to get lazy and take shortcuts with things, but if you want something done, take the time to like make sure you do it correctly. All right, this is the final. I think this is going to be the final coat. This is going to be the final countdown. Oh no, he's singing again. Unsubscribe. Cancel him. Cancel him. Unsubscribe. Oh, yeah, this is most likely going to be the final coat. I'm not going to have to put another coat on top. That's good. If you can do this in 3 passes, that's really, really good. And that's why I say you don't have to use a ton of paint. You know, even if you have cardboard like I got, and if you start seeing like drips and balls and clumps, you know, take the swab and roll it around on the cardboard so at least on the tip it's smooth. And then when you feel confident, you take that swab again. You don't push down. You don't have to put any pressure on it. Let the swab do all the work. I mean, you can cheat and focus on the front a little bit more because that's what's going to be seen by people in general. But again, work it in a circular motion if you can. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. I can see it already. Not looking for perfection. I'm looking for practicality so that I can wear these. I have to stress that, especially with you young guys out there licking your thumbs and cleaning the dirt and all that stuff. All right, let me take the toothbrush because I got just a little bit of clumping on front right there. No positive pressure on the material here. Work that paint in as best you can. Take your toothbrush and just gradually work it to spread those clumps around. Well, it's the final countdown. The final countdown. Let me see what that looks like off camera. Oh yeah, this shoe is coming out a lot better than the other one did. I think I rushed the right shoe just a little too much. And there it is. Not looking for perfection. We're looking for presentation and practicality. So I know that this thing is just a little dry, so let me throw some more, just a little bit of more Angelus. That's got a couple clumps on it. Roll it around. Okay. Pull the wing down. Same process. Let the swab do all the work. Don't push down. Don't put any pressure on it, because you'll get clumping. It's going to look ugly, and then you're going to cuss and swear. You let the swab just do all the work. Let the pressure of the swab. Once you touch the material, kind of let the swab be loose in your fingers. I did that without any clumping. Look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about, folks. And then we can immediately switch over. Now, I don't want to get cocky, because I know me. Don't be arrogant. Like Han Solo would say, "Way to go, kid. Don't get cocky." Fuck Star Wars. Star Wars sucks. Gay, lesbian, witches. And constant callbacks. You know who really roasts Star Wars a lot? I'm a huge fan of theirs for a very long time. It's Red Letter Media. I love those guys. Rich Evans, Mike Stoklasa, and Jay Bauman. And so there's a little bit of clumping in this area here, so we can knock that down. Don't put any positive pressure on the material. Just take your toothbrush, kind of work it in there a little bit. To knock down that clumping just a little bit. I think we have a winner, folks. There may be no reason for me to do another coat. I think that's good. I'm actually kind of happy with that. This shoe went a lot better than the other shoe. I'll say that much. I can see it again. Oh yeah. Oh hell yes. Hell yes. That is so much better than when we started, folks. So there's really no need for this anymore. I'm going to get this out of the way because I'm on beer number 2. I'm not tipsy or drunk or anything like that. But knowing me and my bad luck, I'll get that out of the way, because otherwise my blue jeans will turn white. Don't want that to happen. Okay. Give that another minute to sit. And we'll put the laces on and we'll do the silicone thing, and then we'll wrap up this live stream. I hope you're enjoying, folks. Once again, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications. Click on the link in the chat or in the description box below. It'll take you right to my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. If you want to help to support the channel financially, that's how you can do it. Anybody that had eBay orders with me, your orders have gone out the door. I haven't checked on my eBay store since doing this live stream, because obviously I'm live streaming. Ha! But thank you to those that have supported my eBay store. I have like well over, probably like 640 listings, 650 listings as of today. So, oh yeah, let's get this swab out of the way. Don't need that anymore. That's caca. We wait for another minute, and then we'll lace them up, and that'll be it. And then we'll do the silicone thing next, and then we'll check the laces, see if the laces have any smudging on them. We're going to turn the camera around so you can watch me lace them. Hey, belly cam. All right. Yeah, I'm not going to need a third coat on these. There's no point. No point in putting a third. I'm sorry. No point in putting a fourth coat, I should say. Oop! Don't fall. And that's another reason why you do light coats and all that kind of stuff, and why I brush the mesh like I do, because you don't have to worry about paint getting on your hands so much. Because in this case, less is more. The goal is to get them to be wearable and presentable. I don't give a damn about trying to impress anybody. I just want them to look nice. They are 10-year-old shoes, and I'm a man of cleanliness and neatness. They will be worn out, but I like to extend their life. These are 10 years old. And if I can wear these for another 10 years, then that might be some kind of world record or something. I still have a pair of Concord 11s that I gotta do the barge cement thing too. That's something I'll save for when the weather gets warmer. If that's one tool I don't have, that is a heat gun. And they have portable ones now, battery powered ones. They probably don't last for too long, but yeah, I can see these shoelaces definitely are going to have to be treated with stain cleaner. That's what's nice now about having this new paint on there is you can actually see where the dirt is on the shoelaces. And I'm not going to waste my time trying to wash them or anything like that. So all it takes is an old toothbrush and a little patience. You don't have to go through all those crazy processes. So long as you have patience and you know what you're doing, you go slow, you take your time. I'm very happy with the way these came out. It definitely will extend the life of these shoes. Oh wait, I want to do the over-under on this one. That's right, okay. Because I want to knot them downward. Okay, that's what I want to do. Okay. And again, just to make the laces consistent, I want to make sure they're all twisted the same way. Because even that could look unattractive. All right. Okay, yeah, I could definitely see these are going to need some OxyClean or whatever you call this Walmart brand stuff, great value stain remover, something or other. I don't want my big shoulder getting in the way here. I don't want my phone to fall out. You can definitely see the dirt on the shoelaces after all this time. So again, I just want to size them up. I kind of want to make sure that they look even as well, which they kind of do. I'm content with that. So I'm going to lock them in right here. Just going to pull on them a little bit because as time goes on, they are going to stretch and flex. So I'm going to grab the laces right here by the tongue. This is just the way I lock in my laces, so I don't have to constantly tie them. Of course, it's being stubborn. Okay. Oops. And then I'll give them just a little bit of a pull, and then time will tighten them. That don't look too bad. They look pretty even like that. I like that. So now we'll do the old spray and wash treatment with the laces in place, and then we'll do the silicone and we're done. And we have a decent looking pair of 10-year-old Nike Air Jordans that I pulled out of storage or pulled, de-iced them or thawed them out or, oops, a little too much of the goop. I don't want so much. I got to do wash anyway, so we'll just wipe that away. Shh, don't tell anybody. Let's just call that pre-treating my blue jeans for the wash. And again, just gradually, don't force it. Don't push the brush down. You don't want to cause bobbles and pulls or anything like that. You don't want lint balls. Just be very, very cautious. Oh yeah, that's another thing. don't be afraid if there's a little bit of paint on the brush, because of paint, or paint on this toothbrush, because some of that paint will actually work its way into the shoelace and create the illusion that these laces are white as white can be, which is a benefit to you. But again, don't push down on the brush, because you will cause the material to bobble a little bit. And as you can see, look how nice the lace is cleaned up with just a couple drops of spray and wash, or great value stain remover, which is a euphemism for Walmart cheaper brand, which is the same shit, by the way. Kinda. Well, some store brands are not all that different from their name brand counterparts. The only thing I don't buy store brands of is tomato sauce and cereal. And I'm not a big fan of Walmart steaks either. Their chicken's okay, but their steaks leave much to be desired. I'd rather go to, I know Sam's Club and Walmart is essentially the same thing, but Sam's Club, they have fresher cuts of meat that they butcher right then and there. They cut it up right there for you. Or at least they do it here. I don't know about other locations, but whoops, no runaway brushes on this channel. The power of the brush compels you. The power of the brush compels you. So the laces aren't going to be perfect. I don't give a damn. As long as the shoes are presentable, that's all I care about. And I'm quite content with that. There's still a little staining in there, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me too much. I mean, I could give them a little. Yeah, let's give this area right here just a little bit more TLC. Again, we're dealing with 10-year-old shoes with the OG laces that came with the shoes. Doesn't have to be perfect. Excuse me. Oh shit, it's 9 o'clock already. Damn, how long have I been streaming for? Almost, what is it, 2 hours now? Yeah, almost 2 hours I've been live streaming. Damn. And again, don't push the brush down, because you don't want to create pulls or bobbles of any type. The goal is just to work that stain cleaner in there to at least get some of the staining out of the laces. Or if there's any dirt particles or dust, that's your main objective. You don't want to use bleach, because bleach will destroy these and turn them yellow over time. You don't want that. At least that's what's happened in my experience. And again, I'm not pushing down or anything like that. I'm just slightly of my hand down on the lace, because you don't want any pulls, you don't want any bobbles, you don't want any of that stuff. And I think we're pretty much good to go. Again, I'm not really interested in perfection here. Let me just look off camera quickly. Yeah, there's a little bit of staining on there, because these laces are 10 years old, but what are you going to do? For me to have a little bit of patina on these anyway, even though we're trying to knock down the yellowing on the shoes, because the yellowing is like really distracting. And off camera, man, they look so much better. Jeez, do they look better? They look so much better. But again, like I said, the whole goal is just to knock down that yellowing. The whole goal is to balance the look of the shoe overall so that they're presentable, at least to me. And then, of course, we're going to go and do the silicone trick. So let me turn the camera around. Oh, there's me again. I know him. We'll do the old silicone paste trick, and then we're done. And I have a fresh swab right here. Again, we'll take our little can of silicone and just do the dab. And then scrape off any excess. You don't want too much on here, because then it gets everywhere. This can should last you a lifetime. You can pass this on to your grandkids, and they can pass it on to their kids and their grandkids. Now look at the bubble before. This is going to be something. I should have did that with the first shoe, but whatever. So you see the bubble before. This is like, again, like Patriot Prime reviews. Well, here's the bubble before and after. Now, it's not exactly a perfect process, but at least the bubble cleans up real nice and you can see right through it. So let me just take this off camera here. Okay. Just to make sure I got that in there. Look at how nice and clear that looks now. And then again, you see the other side, how foggy it is. Again, just a little bit of that silicone paste. You work it in there. Don't push, don't force, because you can actually scratch these air bubbles. You don't want that to happen. Again, just with the weight of your hand. And look, you can see right through the air pocket now. Look how nice that looks. It's only a temporary fix. As you wear the shoe, that stuff will wear off. And then every leftover you have, just gradually and very lightly go over just the rubber parts of the shoe only. Don't put it on the leather. You don't want to damage the leather in any way. But whatever is left, just kind of go over it very slightly. Even a thin coat of silicone. See, the reason why I say put on a thin coat of silicone, or at least spread it out as much as you can. This is just to avoid a mess. That's really the only reason why. But then again, like I said, it does revitalize the rubber and the foam and all that stuff. So we'll put just a little bit of silicone on there, because we have to do the pull tab on the back of the shoe. So again, wipe off any. Oh, that's too much. All right, that's better. This is a foam tip. So again, just that's even too much. That's a little too much, but that's okay. We can spread this. Again, we want the shoe to look presentable. Now, if you're selling shoes that are used, you can use this method with the silicone to clean the bottoms, or ceramic spray for automobiles, for like dashboards and stuff. That stuff works really, really well. But you have to go through the process of getting all the dirt and pebbles and glass and God knows what else is on the soles of some of these shoes that we wear. And then whatever's left, again, just gradually and liberally apply it. Don't push. You don't want to force it. You don't want to scratch nothing. You don't want to wear the paint off, and try not to get it on the leather if you can. I mean, it's unavoidable if it does happen, but that's why I say put just a very bare minimum amount of silicone on there. You don't want this thing to be a dust magnet. The goal is just to revitalize the plastic and rubber on this thing so that it stays viable. Look at me with the big words. Okay, again, oops. Going off camera here. That's what happens when you're focused on what you're doing. Just want to make sure you all see it, that there's no corners being cut. And again, whatever's left on, you can see all the dirt that came off of there, by the way. So, again, just whatever's left on there, just spread it around. We'll get rid of that so we know it's out of sight, out of mind. Take the furry part of your microfiber so there's no chance of scratching anything, and just go over it once or twice just to get that silicone off of there, because you don't want it to be gooped up or anything like that. Stick your finger into the air pocket like so. Don't have to really put a lot of effort into it, but you just want to make sure that it doesn't goop up in any way. And just liberally wipe it off with the furry part. You're trying to avoid scratching anything. And the furry part will really absorb that silicone, because there's more surface area for any excess to come off the shoe. Then off the wings, and I think we're done at this point. Let me just go over the toe box here quick. I mean, I really didn't put a lot on the toe box. I mean, these shoes are pretty clean anyway. They just had like, and look at how nice they came out. Especially that air bubble. Now, again, that's only temporary. It will wear down and it may fog up again. There's not much you can do about it. So I'm going to switch the camera around, put the shoe on my feet. Ollie, what's going on, my man? Welcome aboard. Yeah, these are if you've been watching a live stream, these are the 2016s I just took off my shelf to start to wear. Even though I have the 2025s, the mesh was yellow. I put 3 light coats of Angelus leather paint on it, took a toothbrush and spread it around, took some OxyClean with the shoelaces in place, because again, there's going to be patina on them, there's going to be wear on them. They are 10 years old. I'm not concerned about wear and tear at this point. They are 10 years old. I wear my shoes, but I just want them to look presentable. But the thing that really throws your eyes off is the fact that the mesh on these Jordans, on every pair, no matter what they are, especially if they're white, they always turn yellow over time. The air pocket turns yellow, and with a little bit of silicone, you see how nice and clear that is, but that's only temporary. You're going to have to repeat the process on that silicone, but let me put this on feet. And that's pretty much it, folks. Let me take this off the camera stand here so that this way you can get a real look at them. Now that they're painted up, I'm not happy over here. Unfortunately, there's a clump in there I can't really do anything about. I put too much paint on there. Now I can, and this is a risky thing, which I can do. Now I've done it enough. You should really use a little flathead, one of those precision screwdrivers. You can actually scrape that out of there, but just be careful because you don't want to damage the material. So I'm going to go in here with the edge of this box cutter and just scrape out that 1 or 2 annoying clumps. I know it's OCD and it's going against everything I'm saying, but sorry, if you're going to do it right. Yeah, that's good enough. Fuck that. But there they are on feet in a very wonky angle. Yeah, thank you, Ollie. I appreciate that. I mean, I didn't necessarily clean the shoes. The shoes were already clean. I just didn't like the yellowing in the mesh. Air Jordans of any kind, as far as the fours are concerned, that mesh always turns yellow. Always. I don't know what kind of plastics they're using. Probably cheap shit plastic. But with a little TLC, to bring the 2016s up to par with their 2025 counterparts, let me just... All right. I know the angle's a little wonky here, excuse me. But yeah, they look almost dead stock. And what's nice about using the silicone method is that it really brings out the gray and the black, because you're essentially putting moisture back into the rubber and plastic. Rubber and plastic deteriorates. That's why plumbers, or good plumbers, use lubricants on O-rings and rubber gaskets, because those rubber gaskets and O-rings do dry out over time. I learned that early in my plumbing career when I was working in the union back in New York. You know what? Let's put these over here by my desk. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. They look like they're brand new. Well, they practically are new. I mean, I've only worn them here in the apartment a couple times. I worn them outside twice or 3 times now, and I'm like, I can't take it no more. Let me break out the 2025s for a comparison. Forgive me here, folks. And it's good because you can actually see me walking around with these things now. Let me get my chair out of the way. Yeah. All right. There we go. All nice and painted. Let me go grab the 2025s off my rack. Yeah, see, here's the 2025s. These are dead stock. And you look at the dead stock 2025s, and then you look at the 2016s I just pulled off my shelf to wear to replace the ones that I had since they first came out. I mean, there you have it. Not bad at all, folks, in my opinion. It's not me patting myself on the back by no means, but waste not, what not. Just because something's old doesn't mean you throw it away. But you can improve upon it. I really should have backed up the 2025s, but I got these. I'll burn these out until I can't wear them no more, and then I'll start wearing those. That's what they look like now with the mesh painted. These will probably turn yellow after a while. I'm starting to see that on my other Jordan 4s. It's just unavoidable. There's nothing you can do about it. So, but that's the comparison between the two. I am going to go walk and use the bathroom. I'll be back. Expect the unexpected on this channel. I'll be back in short minutes. My God, I'm looking at my feet. Sorry, folks, for the pee break. But that's it, folks. I really don't think there's much more to talk about with these shoes. They look presentable. They look really good. Even in the bright light in my bathroom. Let me look at the LED light that I have here in my dining room. That'll really tell me. Yeah, there's a little bit of clumping on the right shoe on the top of the mesh, but listen, they're going to be worn. They'll probably turn yellow again over time. Shoes, they're going to wear down. Not too concerned about that. But as long as I can extend the life on these, and I got the 2025s right here to compare them to, I'm not going to worry. So that's pretty much it, folks. I got to say, that's a pair of sneakers that will survive the test of time, at least for now. So, waste not, want not. That's what it's all about, folks. Waste not, want not. So, wow, already 9:15. Holy crap, man. So with that being said, geez, let me get the camera up here. Thank you, everybody who has taken the time to watch this live stream. Now, these are just the methods that I use. I'm sure other sneakerheads do things in a different way than I do. That's fine. Everybody's got their way. Let me turn these lights off, man. I got a headache. It's the LEDs. But again, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the support. I'm definitely going to be listing some more sports cards tomorrow. I am eBayed out. You know, it's like, God. Yeah, since way early this morning, I was on eBay listing stuff. But that's all said and done. The customers got their cards that are out the door. I'm going to check my eBay account and see if I got any more sales. But I'm probably going to call it a night. I got to call my buddy that was calling me during this live stream, give him a shout out. And that's pretty much it, folks. Nothing much more to say in this live stream. But thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell to receive notifications Also, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001, where I now have well over, I gotta say, I got like 650 items for sale, or 650 listings, I should say. But there they are, the 2016 Jordans with the mesh painted up, looking nice. Cleaned up the shoelaces just enough. There's going to be patina on them. You know, the 2025s that came out recently, there are cosmetic differences in them. Like, you know, the back is fatter, the mesh is thinner, but more bold. Whereas on the 2016, it's more pronounced. Obviously, everything as far as the detail is concerned is more up and higher up on the foot, more like the OGs that came out back in the days, 1989 and the 2016. I'm going to enjoy wearing these. All right, I'm done. Everybody, God bless. Take care. Stay safe. I appreciate you supporting the channel and the live stream. Have yourself a good night, everybody, and I will be seeing you very soon. Take care.